was a serial cheater. Kevin had different mistresses depending on, the part of his life. This last one was the one that he had the longest term relationship.
Sharina thought she won the lottery when she got with Kevin and had a whole daughter with him. She and this man literally played in Wendy's face for years, using her money to fund their entire relationship, and even buying $1 million house just 9 miles from Wendy's. Those alimony payments Wendy was giving Kevin every month were his only source of income at one point. And girl, they were living large with those paychecks. Kevin has tried every trick in the book, filing lawsuit after lawsuit to make Wendy pay him those monthly checks again. But none of it worked. It got even worse after she was thrown into that highly unnecessary guardianship. Not only did his chance of ever getting alimony payments from Wendy become non-existent, but Wendy's guardian Sabrina Morrissey sued the hell out of him for receiving bonus payments from Wendy. After his failed attempts to sue Wendy, he packed up and left Sharina, as he had done with Wendy. And baby, Sharina deactivated her social media right after this, because people were dragging her down to the ground. It turns out that aside from Kevin leaving her to take care of their daughter all by herself, she is also broke and getting sued by her bank for defaulting on paying thousands of dollars worth of credit card debts. Now, as you know, Wendy has been going through it these last 3 years after her shady bank Wells Fargo threw her into a guardianship she really didn't need to be in. She has been called crazy, thrown into multiple facilities against her will. They sold off her penthouse, they canceled her show, sold her dog to some random person, and they kept her away from her family for years. At some point, her family said they didn't even know where Wendy was, and when they asked Sabrina, she refused to give them a direct answer.
The Guardian has not done a good job at protecting my mom.
Wendy had multiple independent evaluations to prove she wasn't crazy, but those were all thrown out of court. That was until her very recent assessment, which was conducted by a top neurologist in New York. According to the latest reports, people with frontotemporal dementia only get worse after their diagnosis, but Wendy has exhibited remarkable neurological resilience since she became clean and sober 3 years ago. The report went on to say that Wendy's legal team will file legal docs with the court in the next 2 weeks, paving the way for a hearing where they will ask the judge to terminate the guardianship. If the judge digs in and refuses to end the guardianship, powerhouse lawyer Joe Tacopina will then demand a jury trial and ask jurors to free Wendy. It looks like everyone, including Wendy's team, Sabrina, and even the judges who initially handled the case, were all in on it to keep Wendy right where she was at. I already know Wendy is now looking at this and going,
"Death to all of them."
Now, even if Wendy is finally able to get out of this guardianship, it doesn't mean she'll be returning to her show. Oh no, honey. That's over. The moment she goes back to doing that show, Kevin will have some bases to make her pay him alimony again. And that's exactly what Wendy is trying to avoid. We love a smart queen. You see, when Wendy's show got canceled, she lost a huge chunk of her income. She went from making millions of dollars a year to getting sent $50 residual checks. Yup, you heard that right. In February 2022, she received one lump sum of $1,952, and in January 2023, she received just $59. This is exactly why Sabrina sued Kevin. Despite there being a clause in the divorce that Wendy was not obligated to pay him any money if her TV show was ever to get canceled, Kevin kept getting paid an extra $112,000 because Wendy had automated his payments. Sabrina wanted $112,000 back. In the suit, Sabrina said, "I believe this was largely the result of the fact that the payments had been put on an autopay function within her account. Her residual income has been very small since 2021, nowhere near 1/2 of her income in February of 2020, or in October of 2021. Her suit continues. By holding on to the funds he was overpaid, Kevin has interfered with Wendy's right of possession to those funds. Kevin fired back at this lawsuit, claiming that Wendy was actually owing him up to 23 months of alimony payments. Kevin even went as far as trying to get the court to overturn the divorce because she hid a good chunk of her money when they were getting divorced. Our good sis Wendy is actually way smarter than a lot of people think. You see, when Wells Fargo started the process of getting her a guardianship, they estimated the money in her account to be around $7.3 million. However, Her close friend Regina Shell turned in an affidavit that alleged as of 2022, Williams had $55 million in her accounts. She shared with me documents from Wells Fargo showing a cumulative balance of nearly $55 million. When Kevin heard this, he put on his greedy boots and tried to get the court to overturn, so his alimony payments would be reinstated and increased as well. But Sharina fought this, claiming that Kevin was well aware of the money in Wendy's accounts and still agreed to the alimony payments he got. She didn't deny Regina's claims of Wendy having $55 million in her accounts, but she also didn't confirm it either. I cannot address what Regina thinks she saw or heard, what a third person thinks she heard, or what that third person may or may not have reported to Regina. Kevin was not there and has no personal knowledge of whether or not this interaction occurred. A lot of people believe this is because Wendy does in fact have $55 million, but Sharina doesn't plan on allowing Kevin to have a dime of that money. And honestly, this is probably the only good thing Sharina did for Wendy during this guardianship. Maybe she isn't so bad after all. Kevin was in that court telling the judge that he had fallen behind on his car note, his insurance, and that he couldn't even afford to live in his neighborhood anymore. The judge didn't pay him no mind. He's acting as if he can't get a job and move to a place he can actually afford. I have fallen behind on most of my bills. I currently live in a community that requires payments to the Homeowners Association, and I'm behind on that bill. If the Homeowners Association fees are not paid, foreclosure will soon follow. My car insurance hasn't been paid as a result of not receiving monthly severance payments. I'm behind on credit card payments because I have no money since the severance payments were suspended. My life has been greatly affected since the plaintiff stopped making payments under our settlement agreement. Kevin's and Sharina's finances only got worse from here. He sold their old pad for $1.4 million back in 2020, then sold his house in Florida too. In April 2025, he lost a wrongful termination suit against the show's producers for millions in lost wages. He filed another $250 million lawsuit in June 2025 against Sharina to end Wendy's guardianship, alleging exploitation like over-medicating and isolating her, but a judge tossed it out. He even got sued by UBS Bank for failing to make payment on his credit card debts worth over 5 figures. Kevin also reportedly took out a loan from a company called Flex Wealth to pay for 2 luxury cars which he hadn't paid back. As of now, it's being reported that he's planning to do a tell-all with Gayle King to get some quick cash. And then there's Sharina. She deleted all her social media and went into hiding. Word on the street is she is currently getting sued by her bank and TJ Maxx. She even moved back to her mama house and has been reportedly living on EBT for a hot minute now. But as y'all know, EBT isn't even working anymore, so she's really going through it. Someone even leaked her TJ Maxx lawsuit, and it alleges that she's owing them over $3,000. Sharina definitely regrets getting with Kevin. Not only did he leave her high and dry, he left her with a whole child to take care of all by herself and multiple card debts. Now she doesn't only have to deal with hiding from people online, she also has to hide from her bank and TJ Maxx. It's sad. As usual, people had their thoughts, like this person who said, "He is a despicable person. He and Sharina got exactly what they deserve." Another person said, "I always liked Wendy. She is not a liar. Kevin and Sharina deserve all the smoke. If there is such a place as hell, they both deserve a place there." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Sharina going broke after Kevin left her in the desert? And do you really think Wendy deliberately put that clause in the divorce to not pay Kevin? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.